Welcome to my channel. It was a year of recession, resilience, and remarkable change, 1982. Across the United States, families adjusted to a shifting economy. Amid all this, something seemingly ordinary slipped quietly into the pockets and purses of everyday Americans, the 1982 quarter dollar. But as we're about to discover, one particular variation of this coin, the one minted in Denver, known by the subtle D mint mark, would go on to spark the interest of coin collectors across the country. At first glance, the 1982 quarter doesn't appear particularly special. It's a standard coin, part of the Washington Quarter series, bearing the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse. But that year, the U.S. Mint made a subtle shift that would have long-lasting implications for numismatists and collectors alike. This wasn't the Roosevelt dime or the Kennedy half-dollar. It was a humble 25-cent piece that would, decades later, be worth more than 300 times its face value. To understand why this 1982 quarter has become so intriguing, let's take a step back and look at what was happening at the U.S. Mint that year. 1982 was the start of several changes. The Mint was adjusting operations to save on production costs. This included reducing the number of uncirculated mint sets produced, which had long been a favorite among collectors. That year, for the first time since the introduction of official mint sets in 1947, the Mint did not produce any for collectors. No mint sets. No proof sets. Just regular circulation coins. This meant that most of the coins from 1982 were circulated, used, spent, and often worn down. Unlike coins preserved in mint sets, which stay crisp and untouched, these quarters saw the inside of vending machines, change jars, and pockets for years. As a result, finding a 1982 quarter in pristine condition is surprisingly difficult. That factor alone adds to its rarity, especially for the Denver minted quarters in excellent condition. Now let's talk design. The quarter still featured John Flanagan's classic depiction of George Washington, an image that had remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1932. On the reverse was the traditional eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, encircled by olive branches. But it was the coin's material and its condition that drew attention in the numismatic world. But what about the one we're focusing on today? A Denver minted 1982 quarter, carefully preserved, exhibiting strong details, and free of major blemishes. This is a coin that, in today's collector market, is valued at approximately $88. That's right, $88 for a coin you might have overlooked in your change jar. If it's a small d, that means it was minted in Denver. Then examine the overall condition. Is the coin free from heavy scratches or signs of wear? Can you see fine details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers? If so, you might just have a valuable piece in your hand. Another interesting quirk about 1982 quarters is the growing interest in coins with errors from that year. While not specific to the D-Mint quarter, error coins from 1982 have been discovered with off-center strikes, double dies, and missing clad layers. These mistakes can make a coin even more desirable to collectors, sometimes pushing its value even higher. The story of the 1982 D quarter is a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't gold or silver, they're the everyday objects that slipped quietly through history, uncelebrated until someone noticed them for what they were. In the case of this coin, the combination of limited availability in high grade, changes in minting practices, and its place in the economic landscape of the early 80s all contributed to its growing value. It's fascinating to think that this 25-cent piece, minted at a time when the U.S. economy was under strain, has become a symbol of how scarcity and condition can transform the ordinary into something extraordinary. And while it may not be the most famous or flashy coin in American history, the 1982 D quarter holds a unique place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. So the next time you find yourself thumbing through a handful of loose change, take a closer look. That seemingly ordinary quarter might just be something special. Check the date. Look for that little D. And if it's from 1982, you could be holding a small slice of numismatic history worth far more than 25 cents, and here comes the moment you've been waiting for. The big reveal. What is this unassuming quarter actually worth in today's collector's market? In mint condition, graded MS 65 or better, the 1982 D quarter can sell for as much as $88. That's right. From pocket change to nearly $100 bill. All because of a moment in history, a change in minting policy, and the collector's eye for detail. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just a curious enthusiast, the lesson here is clear: treasure isn't always buried or locked away. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. The 1982 D quarter is proof that value can hide in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. So keep searching, keep learning, and most importantly, keep looking closely. You never know what story the next coin will tell. Coin collectors, history lovers, and curious minds. Today's journey takes us deep into the story of a small yet powerful piece of American history, the 1998 quarter dollar, minted in Philadelphia and marked with the letter P. A coin that, at first glance, seems like any other ordinary change you might find in your pocket. But look a little closer, and you'll discover a tale that ties together decades of history, design evolution, economic change, and numismatic curiosity, all wrapped up in this humble piece of metal. This brings us to the coin of the hour, the 1998 quarter dollar, minted in Philadelphia. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about this coin? And why has it managed to reach a collector's value of up to $87 in today's market? To answer that, we have to take a step back, not just to 1998, but to the origins of the U.S. quarter, and even further, to the man whose image graces the obverse side of this coin. Many people mistake the face on the quarter for Abraham Lincoln or another prominent president. But in fact, it's George Washington, the first president of the United States. His profile has been featured on the quarter dollar since 1932, when the U.S. Mint released a new design to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Sculptor John Flanagan's portrayal of Washington, based on a bust by French neoclassical artist Jean-Antoine Houdon, was selected for the obverse, a design that has endured for decades. By the time 1998 rolled around, Flanagan's depiction of Washington had already been in circulation for 66 years. But 1998 marked a pivotal moment, the final year before the release of the 50-state quarters program, which would radically reshape how Americans viewed and collected quarters. In 1999, each U.S. state would begin getting its own unique quarter design, starting with Delaware. This meant the 1998 Washington quarter was the last of the classic uniform quarter designs, making it a symbolic farewell to an era of traditional American coinage. But what about the reverse side? Here, we see a heraldic eagle, wings spread in full, clutching a bundle of arrows and perched above an olive branch. But the real detail we want to focus on today is a tiny letter, one you might miss if you blink. On the obverse, just to the right of Washington's ponytail, is the mint mark P. This tells us the coin was minted in Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most historically significant mints in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since 1792, and over the centuries, it's churned out billions of coins, some common, some incredibly rare. The 1998 P quarter was part of a massive mintage. Over 896 million coins were struck in Philadelphia that year. That's a lot of quarters. So, you might be asking, if there were nearly a billion of them, how could one possibly be worth more than 25 cents? Why would anyone pay $87 for a coin that's so seemingly ordinary? Well, that's where things get interesting. As any seasoned numismatist will tell you, value in coin collecting isn't just about age or rarity in numbers. It's about condition, minting anomalies, and historical context. But perhaps the most compelling reason behind the 1998 P quarter's growing appeal is its position in numismatic history. As we mentioned earlier, 1998 was the last year before the launch of the 50-state quarters program, a campaign that sparked one of the most widespread collecting booms in U.S. history. For many Americans, 1999 marked the beginning of a new era of coin appreciation. Now, let's not forget the collectors themselves. The coin collecting community is as passionate as ever, with collectors seeking out high-grade specimens, rare errors, or coins that hold emotional or historical significance. A 1998 P quarter in brilliant condition, perhaps pulled from a mint set or carefully stored away before it could enter circulation, can ignite real interest in the right circles. It becomes a representation of a moment in American history, frozen in time. Over the years, as more 1998 P quarters have been lost, damaged, or degraded, the number of pristine examples has dwindled. This natural attrition contributes to the value as well. Combine rarity and condition with demand from collectors, and you've got a recipe for rising prices. So, how does a simple 25-cent coin leap in value to a price tag of $87? In part, it's the convergence of all these elements: condition, scarcity in high grade, end-of-era symbolism, and collector demand. But in the world of coins, value is also about story. And the 1998 P quarter tells a beautiful one. Of course, not every 1998 P quarter will net you $87. Most are still worth their face value. But the rare few, the ones preserved through time or born from minting quirks, are commanding surprising prices. And that's part of the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when a simple coin in your pocket change might be something much more. So next time you hear the jingle of quarters in your wallet or drop a coin into a vending machine, pause for a moment. Take a look. That old quarter could be a piece of history. It might be the last eagle before the states took over. It might even be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the story of the 1998 USA quarter dollar, mint mark P. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey, I hope this video has helped you see coins not just as currency, but as storytellers, artifacts, and treasures in plain sight.